There we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Faces for Autism Love streaming telethon. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jacob Hackett, your host. Tonight, you've heard stories from teachers, administrators, people who have worked in the autism community every day, such as your parents that work tirelessly day and night to make sure their children and adults have the appropriate resources available to them when they advance to the next chapter of their lives. My next guest is a minister for First Baptist Church of Pittman. That yes, he's a minister, but he's here for another reason tonight. He also owns a coffee shop, and he's here to tell us what it. He had uh, people that work for him that are on the autism spectrum, and he's here today to tell us what that was like, what they were able to do. So if your child or adult is looking for a job, here's just an example. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Randy Van Elst.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Jacob, for asking me to be a part of this awesome event. Um, yes, I've owned the Treehouse Coffee Shop and Cafe for the last 18 years, and probably within 2 years of owning it, we got involved with Kingsway Learning Center, where my brother was a teacher's assistant, and they were doing job site training and helping to teach their students about food service. And so they had a gentleman that was supposed to speak to him, and he had to step down the last minute. So they asked me to come and speak to their class about it. And there goes our relationship from there. It started a great relationship that's lasted at least 15 years now. That we work with students during the different marking periods. We have 2, 3, 4 students come each marking period, and after a few years, I think they started coming over the summer as well for the kids that did the summer school or the summer program. And so they do all different types of things. We teach them how to do some of the food prep, depending on how much they can actually do, if they can use a knife or not use a knife, or so they've helped shave Asiago cheese. They've cut red peppers. They filled bags of coffee beans, weighed it out. They've cleaned the shop, wiping off tables, bussing tables, washing dishes, um, swept inside and outside, cleaned windows. Since we're a child friendly, family friendly place, they've also cleaned some of the toys that we've had, and some of the kids. I mean, it's been a great experience. And so after a um, number of years, we also joined with Yale schools, which we connected with the one in Cherry Hill, and so they would send a student once a week as well. And actually, so both of them, for some of the more high functioning students, we were able to help. They were able to help with some of our baking because we bake a lot of stuff on premises. So they would make some of the batters. They would help make some of the chicken pot pies or muffins or quiche. So just having the extra hands, or cookies, like we would make a batch of cookies and then scoop them and freeze them until we needed them. Then we baked them as we needed them. So we these students were able to learn a lot, and we were blessed by it. Just seeing their joy from working. A lot of us when we're working, we don't have as much joy. You're like, oh man, we're working today. I could be outside doing a lot more, or I could be sitting there drinking the coffee instead of working. But these kids brought much joy and happiness to the staff. A lot of us really enjoyed our time having the students with us.
Yeah, and as Randy's saying to you, his coffee shop is a little. Well, for those of you that are local and that are watching this, his coffee shop is in, to give people a rough idea, uh, Camden, Pitt, Pittman, New Jersey. For those of you that are familiar with the area, that's where he's at. So anyone, if you're watching this across the country, if you think your child might be the correct fit for something like he's describing, I'm sure there are coffee shops. Reach out. Anyone would be willing to help you.
Yeah, dude, I mean, there's no harm in asking, right? Trying to build those relationships with local businesses, especially small businesses. A lot of mom and pop shops, would be really willing, I think, to help with the autism community.
Right. And I think, Randy, the biggest part of it is that not only having them there, but the business at the end has to be accepting of the fact that, okay, you're having someone that may just have smaller, just slight challenges that you would. Like, continue to be open, continue to say, okay, this worker has the some challenges, but he's just like everyone else.
Yeah, and find their strengths. I mean, that's with any employee that you have anyway, is you're supposed to work with people's strengths, and we all have strengths, each one of us, and not a single person out there is good at everything. Right? I mean, not everyone is, and so each person, I believe, has strengths that we should capitalize on in a good way, not in a demeaning way, but because I think when we use our strengths, when we find joy in our work, it brings so much joy to us, and it brings joy to others. When we really work within the strength that God has given us.
Yes, so if, as I said, if you're looking for work for your child, there are placements out there. Reach out to Jeb's work services. They would be able to help you. Division of Vocational Rehab Services, DVRS. It, at the end of the day, if your child or your adult is able to get something that is fulfilling out of a workday, open their eyes. You don't
Mhm.
know what would be best suited for the kid if you have no idea, no background. So take a look around you. You don't know what's out there.
Right. I agree. You gotta, just ask and see what's out there. Connect with other people. Um, there's a lot of resources out there, I believe. Um, it's just taking the time to find them, which I know could be really hard. Your lives are already busy enough. I know I get being too busy, but um, in the end, you can find something very valuable for your child, young or adult. Uh,
Yeah, and Randy said it. You can find something. And that is why we are here tonight. That is
mhm.
why I am sitting here with people from all walks of life, people that own stores, people that work in churches, people that are school administrators. They've all been, they're- they've all worked it, they've all walked the walk, as I like to say, and done what's important. And now they're coming back to all of us and saying, this is my story. This is why helping autistic children or the disabled community is so important.
Yes, I agree.
And it is because I know some parents need to feel that sense of community that their child is able to be a productive citizen in community.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what we all want.
Yeah.
So for the viewers that aren't watching, I mean that are watching, excuse me, that are watching, viewers that are watching, can you say if it's a school administrator, can you give them an idea of like how they got like did the schools reach out to you and say would you be willing to take
Sure. As first, it was my brother was a teacher's assistant at Kingsway Learning Center, so that's how we got connected with Kingsway. It was first started because they needed somebody to come in and do food service, but then the school to talk about food service, and then the school did reach out to me after that because they had a job site that had to cancel, or they canceled the job site because they realized the job site wasn't handicap accessible. So needed a space where they could be handicap accessible. And so we said yes. Yale Schools, I think they called the shop. I believe that they reached out to us, and I'm not sure exactly if we had connections there at the moment. I know at one point the, the church I was formerly at, the pastor's older son had autism and went through Yale Schools. But I think we had started job site training with them before that connection. So they reached out to us, and that's what they do. I mean, I know after uh, our shop had moved to Audubon, they started asking other local businesses right on the same street, hey, can we bring some kids into your store to help with different things? So I know the deli in town has kids, and I don't know what other ones, but there's a couple other stores, and I think the businesses were willing to open their space and have uh, these children, these students come in and be a part of it.
Yeah, for, yeah, I did that. It's work-based learning service, work-based learning. I did that at the Student and Special Services. They sent me, I started in the school's restaurant, much like what Randy has at his Treehouse Cafe. Then I went to the Shore Medical Center, which is a hospital down here at the Shore in Summers Point, New Jersey. And then I went back to the school to do secretarial work in the school's board office. And that's true too.
Yeah.
These schools that give these kids work-based learning, they want to give them variety to see where they want to end up. And and I was lucky for myself that two of the placements that I worked at through the school, that they actually offered me positions when this ends.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
So I mean, you never know how, you never, what's the saying? You never know till you try,
Yeah.
and and you never know what'll come up either, and the connections that you'll make or anything.
No, and it's great to see you reminded me of other schools that are doing the same thing when you said the school's restaurant. I know Collingswood High School, they started a cafe in their school for their special needs students. And so they run it every day. They take orders. People can come and get coffee and other stuff. So they had actually brought their students to the treehouse at one point, and I talked to them about about food service once again. So it was a great opportunity to give back in that way to that school and to those students. And I've seen other schools do the same thing because I think it is important. I think job skills training is something that's desperately needed all across the board, really. And I think if the autism community can get it, it's going to only just propel them forward for when they do graduate high school and go out into the real world to have some, as you said, skill sets, right? To have some things and to know what you like. I mean, because so many of us, we get into a job and we we don't like it after a little while. But to know ahead of time because you've had these experiences at different businesses while you're in high school, I mean, that is diamond right there. That is so good to have that opportunity.
Yeah, because as you and I know, a lot of us or a lot of schools don't offer things like that. So that's just an added stepping stone or step to make sure, okay, like,
Yeah, and I think it's, if there's anybody watching that works in a school, teachers or administrators, I think this might be a good opportunity to really think about, well, how is your school set up to help children with autism? What are you doing in order to play a part in making sure they get the necessary job skills training that they need? And even small businesses, any businesses out there, any managers of any size business, how can you get involved? How can you serve the autism community? How can you invite them into your business or the place where you work, to have them alongside of you, to learn with you, and to learn from them? Because it's a partnership, right? I mean, we learn, they learn, we all learn together. Um,
Yeah, you said it. We all learn together. And as Randy said, for those of you that are watching this, if you feel so inclined, it just may interest you, especially teachers, administrators in school systems. If you want to do this, I would start reaching out as soon ASAP, because today is March 12th. We are more than halfway done this school year. If if you want to, if you think that business A or business B would be appropriate, or if you think a business would be appropriate to have your students work at with a school-based, structured-based learning, do it.
yeah,
And please, before we hang this interview up, please donate to Faces for Autism. We have Venmo, Faces for Autism. Um, the Instagram has a donate button. Facebook has a donate button. Facesforautism.org, that's our site. That's where you can stream us. We're on YouTube, Faces for Autism. Please, I just named 4 or 5 different ways you can donate. Whether you can give $5 or $500, please donate. Every dollar counts.
yes,
If you don't donate, Faces can't do we can't do what we do all year long. Matthew's Mission, the, the picnics that they do at Stale Manor Park, the fun days at the boardwalk. Obviously, that hasn't happened in a year because of COVID, but that'll restart again, I'm sure. If if you don't donate, Faces can't run. The several other organizations that I've talked about can't run. Nothing can happen without you.
right. You gotta please donate. They do great work. Faces for Autism, between the education to creating support systems within each other. I mean, I think it's such an important um, organization, nonprofit, that does such great work. They're dedicated. So please give what you can. $1, $5, $10, $100, $1,000. And you know what? Ask the places where you work if they'll donate as well. Maybe they'll be willing to match whatever dollar for dollar what you can give.
Yes, please talk to your workplaces. The donation buttons will still be up after the telethon. I will still be interviewing people live on live for the telethon on Facebook. We're not going anywhere. I'm still going to be interviewing people. Please donate. Faces isn't going anywhere either. And thank you to the Mosca family. Without you, there's no Faces. There are no events. There's no nothing. So please donate.
Yes, please donate. That's the best nation, is a donation.
Good one.